When he was first introduced in the Universe Survival arc, we all wondered as to who he was, and after fighting Goku, what he can do, and as the Tournament of Power kicked off, one of the most disappointing characters featured was indeed the same character we all questioned when he was first introduced, and on today's video, we will be talking about Toppo's character utilization and seeing if he was a complete waste of a character or if in fact he was simply misunderstood. So channel that Hakai energy and hold on tight because we're going to be discussing Toppo's character execution next. If you guys like the Dragon Ball content that I provide on this channel, then make sure you guys punch that subscribe button with notifications enabled to be the first to receive all the latest in Dragon Ball content and be a part of the Dragon Ball squad. And also don't forget to follow me on these social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to stay connected with me at all times. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. Thank you so very much for your support. Now let's begin. Ever since Toppo was introduced in the Universe Survival arc, many people within the fandom were divided on his character and whether or not he was actually fodder in comparison or if he had more to offer as the tournament dwindled on down and reaching its conclusion. And joining me here today to talk about Toppo's character is my good friend SuperSaiyanPaul. As Paul, I'm going to be very honest with you, I think they dropped the ball with Toppo. There is no proper way of coming up with any kind of excuse to justify the failure that is of Toppo. We've gotten so much out of many other characters. One of the lead disappointing characters in this entire tournament, hands down, was Toppo. Not just for the simple fact that they gave him the power of a god of destruction, but even predating that, this entire tournament, Toppo had done nothing to prove himself as a candidate in which he should have been to become the next god of destruction, but instead, all he really did was bitch and complain, and even going as far as talking about justice and how much it meant to him, all for it to be thrown out the window in his fight against Frieza, 17, and Vegeta. And what I wanted to ask you personally as a fan is, what are your overall thoughts on Toppo's execution? Do you believe personally as a fan they did the right thing, or perhaps maybe this was expected since day one? And this goes out to all of you guys listening in and watching this video and getting your thoughts as to if they dropped the ball on Toppo, because I personally believe one of the biggest failures of this tournament was indeed Toppo. He had all of this power channeled within him and he could have used this since the beginning. I understand you need to preserve your stamina to fight greater and stronger opponents down the line, but Toppo literally had it within him to clear house and do what was needed to ensure his team's victory, but instead he waited until the end only to get foddered. So Paul, what are your overall thoughts on Toppo's execution? What are your overall thoughts as to Toppo as a character, and how do you feel about Toppo now that he's gone from the Tournament of Power?
My overall thoughts on Toppo and the way they handled him is that, honestly, with the way that everything was feeling rushed, they didn't know what to do with him. It was at the point, at the very beginning, it seemed like he was the centerpiece of the Pride Troopers before we knew really about Jiren and stuff like that. And then towards the middle of the tournament, it seemed as though they strayed away from that, left his character development and his character just sitting there until the very end here, where he gets the God of Destruction power, just to show that Vegeta has overcome this huge barrier since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, that he was able to say he took on God of Destruction power level beings and defeated them. Now, Toppo had more character development than most of the Pride Troopers ever did. Was he utilized to the fullest? Definitely not. He has more personality than Jiren, but I feel like he's gotten less screen time than Ribrianne, and that's why it really aggravates me and some of the fans here, because you had a character here with his whole sense of justice, especially at the beginning, even before the tournament began, and then at the very end here, he abandons all of that. It shows that his, just like the writing, the team fell apart. The Universe 11 fell apart as a team, and even the character himself, let me throw justice to the side and become this god of destruction in this tournament. And him and Jiren, they weren't even talking the same way. Even Jiren was like, oh, look at him, he's just such a pitiful fool and stuff like this. That's why it bothers me with this character, because they showed so much confusion as to what to do with him, rather than showing us what it seemed like it was initially planned for, with him being just an honorable fighter and them looking as Goku as the villain and stuff like that. An underutilized character, out of 10, I would probably say yes. Like 10 out of 10 underutilized as possibly can be. And it still bothers me to this day that Ribrianne had more character development, more screen time, and just so much more done.
They gave Topo God of Destruction power, and he was established to be a candidate from the beginning. Toei announced this back during March, April of 2017. They explained as to who Topo was. We saw the battle during the Zen exhibition match, and it's safe to say now that if it were not for the Daishinkan during the Zen exhibition match, Topo might have revealed his God of Destruction power. Then, obviously, I think he would have overtaken Goku. However, it doesn't really, justify the means of Topo beating up Golden Frieza and handling 17, but not being able to ring out a single person. Throughout this entire tournament, Topo, the only thing he's done was bitch at people. He's been yelling out Justice Flash, Justice Flash. The only thing he's been spamming this entire tournament was Justice Flash and the Hakai Energy Blast. That was the only two moves he was doing throughout the entire tournament. He's been spamming Hakai towards the end of, 125, 126, and throughout the rest of the Tournament of Power, he's been firing off the Justice Flash, and it's been so meaningless, it did literally nothing to anybody. He punched Kappa in the face before doing the Justice Dab. He bitched at 17 for not allowing Ribrianne to transform because it wasn't right, or it wasn't noble for, a warrior not to transform in his eyes. And then he spoke about, preserving his energy and stamina with Jiren after Justice flashing Goku into the ground before telling him, hey, we need to conserve our energy, when in fact Jiren wasn't even doing anything to begin with to even waste energy, so that was dumb. And then on top of that, in the beginning, Goku calls him out, and Topo, acknowledges Goku before getting thrown off by Ganos and whatnot. So Topo, this entire time, he's been a side piece, and I really hate to, look at him as that, because he is the leader of the Pride Troopers. Why in the world is he a leader is beyond me. Is he suitable to be a leader? Okay, maybe based on characteristics and, the way he operates as an actual being, sure. But, looking at him from a power scaling standpoint, looking at him from, a narrative to where they wrote him into the show, they wrote Topo into a corner, and the only way for them to back out of it was to have Vegeta just completely mollywop him with that final explosion. So I just personally feel like there was no substance behind his character, because you're given the God of Destruction power, you're given Hakai power, and yet you're not even able to catch up to Android 17. That makes no sense. Paul, do you not understand that Topo was able to blitz Golden Frieza and beat the holy mess out of Frieza, but he wasn't able to catch up to 17? He was able to go toe-to-toe with Vegeta and arguably beat him around before, spamming all of his, energy blasts, but then he can't catch 17? Why is it that Topo can't catch 17? So what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think was the most disappointing moment for Topo in the Tournament of Power, if there were any moments for you? Because for me, I think it was the lack of execution. He had 17 and he had Frieza before his very feet. Did he try to eliminate Frieza? Yes. If it were not for 17, was Frieza bound to get thrown out? Yes, I will give him that. He nearly killed Frieza. He admitted to Frieza that, listen, I could destroy you right here, but I don't want to get disqualified. What was it you just said? Trash belongs in the trash bin, and then he proceeded to kick Frieza before 17 made the save. But granted, even going into Dragon Ball Super Episode 126, we saw how Topo had 17 right then and there. 17 was on his knees, defenseless, and he failed to do the job. So what do you think was Topo's most disappointing moment? And as we go forward, what are your overall thoughts as to, Topo's character as a whole? I mean, what were some of the moments that you really did not like? And what were some moments that you said, okay, well, he had it, but they dropped the ball in terms of writing?
I would say right here and now with episode 125, 126, they had the ball and they dropped it twice, literally in both episodes. You had Frieza in the palm of your hands. You had the potential to kill this guy, yet you do not ring him out. How does that work? How does Golden Frieza have more eliminations than you on his own team, and you can't ring one of them out with all of this power?
Yeah, Topo doesn't have, I don't think Topo has any eliminations, does he? I don't think he has a single one.
Well, at least from Universe 7, Frieza still has 1+ over him. He eliminated Gohan. Topo couldn't eliminate someone that he had in his palm of his hand and said, I can kill you anytime I want. And the fact that he was Hakkaiing
rocks! He was Hakkaiing rocks to get to Android 17 in episode 126.
That literally shows the depth of his writing and how rushed it is. I'm gonna hike high rocks, and with my god of destruction
That's
energy.
all he did. He kept Hakkaiing rocks to get to 17. Why? What was the moral purpose of that, you know?
He spent like half the episode doing that until Vegito's like, you know what, I'm just gonna take care of this. And this is a discredit to Vegeta, honestly, because yes, he destroyed a God of Destruction level tier character, but this guy was shooting rocks. Oh my god.
No, he was shooting Hakkais at rocks, but not only that, when Belmont told, you know, Toppo, I don't care what you do, just destroy everything, make sure you destroy his attacks, do whatever you want, just don't kill him obviously, but just destroy. What does Toppo do? Hakkai, 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 and everything. Vegeta punched right through the, you know, Hakkai blast, and he decked Toppo in the face. I don't understand. I mean, if anything, why not give Toppo this God of Destruction power early on to establish his character? Can you imagine this? And I want not just you, but the audience to imagine this. Put yourself in this situation. If the Tournament of Power really did have good writing, imagine putting yourself in this situation. You have, you know, potentially Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren. That's already a separate fight in and of itself. You have Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, God of Destruction Toppo, Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. You have Hit, Anilaza, Golden Frieza, Ultimate Gohan, full-powered Dispo. You would have had yourself a Smash Mouth fight. You would have had yourself a Smash Mouth tournament, but instead, oh hey, we're gonna drop the ball on this guy. Oh yeah, we're gonna drop the ball on these girls. We're gonna drop the ball on this character and that character. And it's really frustrating because we know that Super is ending, but out of all people, it's like we expected for them to drop the ball on Toppo, which they did during the Zen exhibition match. Then even after that, it was foreshadowed. Hey, if you think you can beat me, then you have no chance against my good friend Jiren the Grey. It was established then that Jiren was going to be the be-all, end-all of this fight, of this entire tournament. So, you know, as we go into this, what are your overall thoughts as to what they could have done right? Because I feel like if they were to keep Gohan and eliminate Dispo and still have 5 versus 2, it would have made sense to see at that given point Toppo at least eliminate Gohan in 17 before getting wrung out by Frieza or Vegeta, and thus setting up for Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza potentially versus Jiren, if not more. If you want to throw out Gohan, you know, during the point of Toppo having to throw him out while somebody else wrung out Toppo, that would have been fine, but at least to give him something, but they dropped the ball. So what do you think, in your opinion, they could have done right?
They could have given him a lot more screen time with this God of Destruction ability, or give him at least some more of the spotlight during the middle of the tournament. The thing that still bothers me the most is the 2 characters that come to mind was like Kale, especially Kale getting all of this like centerpiece of attention.
Yeah.
She had a moment where she had more attention than Toppo, but she got ringed out earlier, and there was less. Yeah, especially like both of them combined. And then we go back to Ribrihan, that whole middle part of the tournament. Why wasn't Toppo more efficient during that part? Why did they give her the spotlight more than anybody else? And when it comes down to the wire here, he's still towards the end of the tournament. That was all the time they had to develop him. They just threw it away. They just gave it away to this character that everybody hated, nobody cared about, and then 17 had to finally dispose of. Now, I would have rather them had Gohan still in the tournament to like at least have a definitive episode against Toppo and maybe have like a little bit of rivalry going on. Did that happen? No, they wasted Gohan as well. And even the writing here in this episode 126, it shows they ripped themselves into a literal corner. Hakkai, 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 nothing connects. I'm shooting rocks, it's not working. And then gets destroyed by Vegeta. That's really sad, and I had so much more hopes for this character. Him being an honorable warrior at the very beginning with the Justice in the Zen exhibition match, showing that he was a justiceful fighter. He was like, yo, I'm here to take on the bad guy, and that's Goku. And that's when we were all like having the turning point here, is like, is Goku the villain of Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that. That was very good concepts that they're trying to utilize here. He throws that literally all away the minute he went to this destruction form, and half of the episode, badass. Half of the episode, what are you doing, my guy?
Exactly, and I think that, you know, with the concept of him throwing away the justice concept, even Vegeta was like, I see what you did there, what a change that was, you know. So I get it. To be a destroyer, you're going to have to separate what good and bad is, you know, as opposed to what you deem to be justice. And, you know, even Vegeta pointed out, I will never lose to a loser like you who doesn't even protect their own pride. You threw your pride away for destruction and you failed. That's a failure. Toppo failed. And, you know, myself and the exception of, you know, a few others that gave Toppo so many chances, it's very sad to see the way this was going to go down. Toppo's fodder, Toppo's trash. I hate his overall direction. He's the leader of the Pride Troopers for what? Just because he's friends or he's able to cooperate better than other people than Jiren? You know, and Jiren even pointed out, listen, you're trash, you're pathetic. I expected more from someone that is supposed to be a candidate to be a destroyer. So I think that they definitely whipped themselves in the corner. But any final thoughts before we go in terms of Toppo's character, in terms of Toppo's development, and just any final thoughts as to how you feel about the character as a whole?
Toppo had so much potential and they dropped the ball with it, right? But the thing that Toppo brings me into worry here is that with Jiren, if Toppo had more character development done and up to this point, Jiren has even less than this, and we only have him left in the stage. What does this say for Jiren if we feel this disappointed with Toppo? They could potentially ruin the ending of the series right here and now if they rush Jiren in the same exact way, which they seem like they're on the path with, because how much do you really know about Jiren? How much do you know about? I know more about Toppo than they did about Jiren, and they still messed up Toppo. Yeah. So that's my biggest concern right now with Dragon Ball Super. What are they going to do in these last 5 episodes with Jiren's personality and give us something at the very least? Because Toppo, we knew since the Zen exhibition match, how many episodes ago was that? Was that like almost 50?
Yeah, just about,
Just about 50 episodes. And in 50 episodes, I feel this disappointed with this character. Jiren has had even less than that, even maybe a quarter of that in terms of like actually screen time. And it just scares me. That's my concern with this tournament. Just Jiren's personality. And if we feel disappointed with Toppo, what do you guys think we're going to feel with Jiren if they don't do it properly?
In the end, I really did not like the direction in which they took Toppo in. It was a complete waste. I mean, they gave this guy the ability to rival a god in terms of power. They've given him so much in these episodes, and he doesn't do a damn thing. And I personally feel like, once again, they've dropped the ball, but they've dropped the ball on so many characters in this tournament. You can't really blame the characters themselves. You have to blame the writing, because the people behind this don't have a goddamn clue as to how to develop a character properly, aside from maybe Kalen Khalifa, who had the most development in this tournament. And I sit there and I question to myself as to why they couldn't give other characters, you know, the proper treatment, the right treatment, the same treatment as they did with them. And here we have Toppo throughout the entire time was bitching and complaining about justice, and then all of a sudden he just flips the script and saying, you know what, you know, if there's no justice, then there has to be destruction, and you know, this, that, and the third. It was a complete waste. It was a complete waste no matter how you want to look at it. Yes, although he was strong, you can't really rule that out, because he was beaten by Vegeta's energy from the final explosion. He was pushed out of the ring, and we saw as a result he landed in the bleachers, you know, reserving back into his other form. So it was stupid. It was really dumb. I really did wish that they were to develop this character a bit more, but I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. What are your overall thoughts on the utilization or the lack of for Toppo's character? Did you guys enjoy Toppo? Did you guys hate Toppo? How would you guys have done things a bit differently if you were the guys writing Toppo's character? Leave your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoy Dragon Ball content and are new to this channel, don't forget to punch that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted here. Thank you all so much once again for watching. Check out SuperSaiyanPaul's channel down below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all that good jazz in the description box. And I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Cue my outro, bitch.